I have choices to make every day, and I hope you do too. But does the person that's dealing with an addiction? Hi, I'm Gina here at Hope and Cope. We talk about the essential skills we need in order to have the best life that we can in spite of painful and sometimes even tragic life events and situations. In last week's video, I talked about letting our loved ones face the natural consequences of their choices so that they might choose to get sober. But later I thought more about it and I thought, well, does that person really have a choice to get sober? So I want to talk about that topic with you guys today. I don't know at what point a person that uses alcohol or drugs or has or carries on a harmful, addictive behavior, I don't know at what point that person moves from choosing their behavior into addiction where it goes beyond a choice and they are forced by this addiction into their behavior. It's a curious thing to me because in the situation with my husband where he dealt with alcohol, there was a substance there that also impaired the brain. But I know that people get addicted to behaviors like pornography or gambling. And even though there may not be a drug involved, I know the brain can get equally as impaired and their processing can get really, really messed up. They can lose everything. Their lives can fall apart, go into shambles. So it's odd to me because I always kind of blamed it on the impairing effects of alcohol, but we can never underestimate the damage on the brain that an addictive behavior can have. As I've warned you guys in the past, people in addiction never think the addiction is the problem. If you try to get between them and their addiction, you're going to be the problem, you're going to be the enemy, and they are going to probably run more toward their addiction and less toward you. I heard an analogy years ago off of one of the AA talks that I had heard, and it made this analogy and it has stuck with me and it really helped me to try to understand the way addiction affects the brain. So this person said, if you've got your whole day planned, you've got a million things on your mind, a million thoughts running through your mind, your breath is never one of your thoughts. Just never going to enter your mind all day to think about your breath. But if for some reason your breath is being constricted, if someone's holding you underwater or if somebody's holding your mouth, you're having some kind of terrible health condition where you can't breathe, then nothing else matters and you're totally focused in on getting that next breath and everything is dependent upon that next breath. And so that is the way a person with addiction kind of explained how it is that you can't think about your wife or your husband, you can't think about your children or your job. You are just thinking about the next hit or the next fix, and it's like that breath when you're underwater that you're desperate for, and it's all you can think about. So when a person is in an addiction and they finally do get really miserable, can they get out? Can they make a choice to get out? I have listened to a lot of AA talks. You can listen to them on YouTube and probably other places too. You certainly can go to AA, open AA meetings and hear talks. But I heard a lot of stories that were pretty profoundly hopeless and people still got clean and sober. So I know there is hope. A lot of those stories honestly sounded like miraculous intervention to me. I think a lot of them gave credit to miraculous intervention. So I don't know where, this person day after day after day after day was making all these miserable choices and they could not make one correct choice. And then all of a sudden they get a moment of clarity. All of a sudden they get this one little thought and they think to do one right thing, and that sets them on a trajectory of the next right thing and the next right thing and the next right thing. But they don't know how they got from never making a right choice to this moment of clarity. And it is a mystery. It is miraculous. And it is why, in my mind, that alcoholism, especially, I don't know about the other addictions, is a disease. It's at least a disease of the mind, because I don't think people ever want to lose everything. They never want to lose their health. They never want to lose their family, their career, their home, their health. That's not what they plan to do, and yet they can't seem to get out of that vicious cycle. I only have one really personal experience, and that's with my own husband. And I believe with all my heart that he really wanted to be sober. I believe he wanted to be able to get free. I think he loved his family and his life and didn't want to lose everything he had. But he was never able to make the right choice, even after multiple stints in different rehabs. He was never able to be sober once he was out of rehab. And it really is just an unknown entity. I don't know if unknown entity is the right word to say. It is just an unknown factor of, could he have gotten sober if, let's say, the situation was different and I did leave him, the girls turned their back on him, he ended up homeless in the streets. Would he have then decided that he was desperate enough to get sober? That just never happened, and nothing close to that ever happened. And so I have no idea if he could have made the right choice, if he'd have been miserable enough. But it just turned out the way it did, that he ended up having a drunk driving accident, and it all just coming to an abrupt stop. And so I just don't know. And I don't know if that would have ever happened, because I had been committed to staying in the marriage. So short of something terrible, unforeseen happening out there in the future, I just don't know. And I just can't really beat myself up over things that I don't know. Unfortunately, we do know too many stories where people lose their fight against drugs and alcohol. Was that their choice? Really? Dying slowly from disease or injury? Was that their choice? I think of a young mother that's, she's got one or two little babies, and she loses her children, and then she's out on the streets prostituting herself for drugs. Is that what she dreamed of being when she was a little child? I don't think so. I want to encourage you, dear loved ones, not to get mad or take it personally with your people that are in addiction. Don't get up and feel every day like they're choosing their addiction over you, over their family, over their children. They are just deceived. Their brains and their minds are damaged from the effects of the addiction. What we can do is just pray that they will hit their bottom quickly. I don't know, maybe you're watching this and you have a loved one in addiction and they've been in it for a long, long time. But if that's not the case, if they've been in it for a short period of time, the shorter the better. That's just my opinion. The less time that disease has to just infiltrate every part of their body and their mind, their psyche, their processing, the quicker they can get in and out, the better. That's my hope for our loved ones. But if they have been in it for a long time, we can pray that they will find their bottom, that they will have that miraculous moment, and they will seek recovery and turn that corner and find God and find that thing that they're looking for to fill that empty hole. Because I think a lot of the people that I heard in their AA talks, they say that that's really what addiction is that people are trying to fill an emptiness in their heart, and that emptiness can only be filled by God. So let's just pray for our loved ones and try not to take their addictions personally. I hope this was helpful. That's always my intentions, and I always put a little extra encouragement for you in the description box. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing. That would help my channel. And if you could think of somebody that this might help, I would love for you to share it. Look for new content on Sundays. And I love you. I always pray for the people that watch my videos. And until next time, God bless.